everybody, I'm Courtney and welcome back to another weekly reading update. So got my books here. I'm going to start off like usual and talk about the books that I finished. So last week I was a little over halfway through with Crescent City. I did finish it. I actually was surprised by how quickly I finished this, saying that it is almost 900 pages long, but I stayed up way too late one night and finished the last 200 pages. I really enjoyed it. I'll be doing a full review in the coming weeks. Like I mentioned last week, I don't typically love contemporary or urban fantasy, so I was surprised by how much I enjoy this. I think that's mostly because I really do enjoy Sarah J. Maas as an author, and so that probably contributed to a little bit of me being able to handle them pulling out cell phones in a fantasy world, which usually is something that really bothers me. I did not love this one quite as much as I love the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I'm still really excited for the next book because I think that will kind of solidify my love for this realm. I really liked Bryce as a character. I'm really interested to see if I continue to like her as the series progresses. So yeah, right now I would probably give this a 4 out of 5 stars. Like I said, didn't love it as much as I love the Court of Thorns and Roses series, but still really enjoyed it. The next one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I actually think I skipped talking about this last week because I hadn't gotten any further than when I had first talked about it. So I kind of flew through this one. I, once again, really love V.E. Schwab. I feel like this is just an episode of authors that I love. I really enjoy V.E. Schwab. So I went into this with really, really, really high expectations. And about halfway through it, I was very frustrated because I wasn't loving it. And I kept seeing all of these reviews on Instagram and people just saying that it's their favorite read of the year, that some people are saying it's their favorite book of all time. So I went into it expecting it to live up to a lot of hype. And like I said, about halfway through it, I just was frustrated. I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't like Henry as a character, but I decided I'm going to power through. I'm going to finish this. And so last night I read the last 60, 70 pages and it completely changed my mind about the book. I ended up really, really enjoying it. Still not a 5-star read for me, but the ending definitely tied everything together. It made me like the characters a bit more and satisfied some of the issues that I had with the beginning of the book, which I'm not going to go too in depth on. But yeah, ended up being a lot better than what it was when I was posted on Instagram a couple of days ago. So once again, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I also read one more book, but it's a secret book because it was our Dandy Roll Book Club December pick. So I'm not going to talk about it, but it was adorable. It was a novella that will be launching here in a couple weeks. It launches on the 27th. I don't know what day that is. But be on the lookout because that one was also a 4-star read for me. So now on to what I'm reading. Honestly, not much because I didn't finish Addie LaRue until super late last night. And so I hadn't really gotten very far in some of the other books that I have in my TBR, but I am going to talk about some of the short story collections I've been reading over time. The first one is Wild Milk by Sabrina Orah. It is a very, very slim collection of what I would call micro stories. So 3 to 5 page long short stories. They're wild. It's surrealist, absurdist fiction. I really love her writing style. She wrote one of my favorite essays. I'll link that short story, but that's really what got me interested in her collection. I'm only like 3 or 4 stories in, but like I said, they're very, very, very short stories, so that's not a huge accomplishment. But so far, yeah, really enjoying it. So that's Wild Milk by Sabrina Orah Mark. Okay, next one. I just got an ARC copy from Small Bear Press of Never Have I Ever, Isabel Yap's new short story collection. So this is a short story collection. It's described as spells and stories, urban legends, and immigrant tales. So a lot of them do have some sort of fantastical elements. There is some horror mixed in as well. As I mentioned, I'm only 1 story in. The first story was a horror-ish. It was more of like a monster story. It had a little bit of body horror that took me by surprise, but I really enjoyed her writing in the first story, and I'm really excited to continue to read. But yeah, that's Never Have I Ever by Isabel Yap, and it comes out in February 2021. And then I also started Pan's Labyrinth, which is written by Cornelia Funke with Guillermo del Toro. It is the literary version of his famous movie, which is one of my favorite movies. Once again, I'm only like 2 chapters in. Like I said, I finished both Crescent City and Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which were pretty long, so it didn't give me much time to start anything else. So everything this week is pretty recent on my reading list. I'm very excited about this because I do love Pan's Labyrinth, and I'm really interested to learn more of the backstory. And that's what I've discovered there are short stories and tales mixed in with the plot. So you can learn a little bit more about this world that you meet in the movie. So I'm very, very excited to learn more about that. So Pan's Labyrinth, written by Cornelia Funke with Guillermo del Toro. All right, now on to what I got. So this first one is not a novel. It is a book, though. It is Date Night In, which is a kind of a journal activity book for couples. Right now, it's pretty unsafe for my husband and I to do any of the date night activities we used to do. We were big movie people. We can't go out to a bar and have a drink. We can't really go to restaurants right now as cases are spiking. So we've been trying to figure out ways to kind of break the monotony of coming home and sitting on the couch and watching TV and or reading. So this is a conversation starter. It has really adorable illustrations. I love the colors of them. And it's basically just a listicle book. There are other like fun activities. We haven't started any of them yet. But like draw your partner and have your partner draw you, which is kind of funny. Lots of like fun listicles, like favorite gifts, but then also it does get kind of deep about like, what are your dreams? What do you want out of your relationship? There are some quizzes. I am excited for us to spend some time working through some of these things, and I will let you guys know how we progress. So that is Date Night In, a journal for couples to spark conversation and connection. And then the last book I got this week was These Violent Delights. I am so excited about this one. I have been waiting for it to come out. As I mentioned a few episodes ago, I have a ton of Book of the Month credits saved up, and I haven't really been using them. But then they had this as a pick, and I immediately checked out and added this to my cart, and now I have it. So These Violent Delights is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet set in 1920s Shanghai. There's really not much else to say about that because I'm assuming most people are familiar with the plot of Romeo and Juliet. So I love story and fairy tale retellings, and I also am really excited to read about Shanghai in the 1920s. Like, it's in the late 1920s, I believe. 1926. I will probably start this pretty quickly, so I will let you guys know my thoughts. Okay, so that's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will be posting a new video on Thursday about 5 coming of age stories to read in your 20s. This was a reel, like a short reel that I did on Instagram that's been one of my most popular. I've had a lot of comments and a lot of people reading the suggestions. So I decided I'm going to do a full-length video on that and kind of expand a little bit more on why I chose these books. So that will be posting on Thursday. In the meantime, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at NotSoWellRead. Bye, everyone.